All right, so today we're going to be diving into the life of Edith Nawakwi.
Yeah.
As you know from the sources you share, she recently passed away at 66. And she left a pretty huge impact on Zambian politics and economics.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're going to be taking a look at some of the key milestones of her journey and her lasting impact.
Sounds good.
So when you look at her background, the first thing that jumps out is her education.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
She built a really strong intellectual foundation. I mean, born in Mwenzo in 1959.
Right.
Got her degree in agriculture economics and business management from the University of Zambia.
Wow.
And then on top of that, you see her postgraduate diploma in economics of energy and development from Imperial College London.
So she was, like, right away, she was
Really well educated in economics.
super sophisticated understanding of crucial economic sectors.
Yeah.
And that's early on.
Early on.
Like that obviously, informed all of her later roles in government. Absolutely. Yeah. That's got to be like the bedrock of her career.
And, speaking of government, she had some pretty groundbreaking political achievements.
She did.
In 1998.
Right.
She became Zambia's first female minister of finance.
That's a huge deal.
I mean, think about that.
Yeah.
Not just for Zambia, but for the entire Southern African region. It's a huge step forward.
Breaking barriers for sure.
Really breaking barriers.
In a male-dominated field.
Yeah, in a traditionally male-dominated sphere.
You got it.
And it makes you wonder, what kind of impact did that have? Just that one appointment.
Yeah.
But then on top of that, her commitment to public service, went way beyond that.
She did a lot.
She held a whole range of ministerial positions,
Lay it on us.
Minister of State for Energy and Water Development.
Wow.
Minister of Energy and Water Development.
Okay.
Minister of Agriculture, Food and Fisheries. And Minister of Labor and Social Security.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, just
she did it all.
the breadth of experience across all these different sectors speaks volumes about her capabilities.
Right.
And the trust that was placed in her.
And the trust.
And, it's important to remember that these huge strides in female representation that happened, at these high levels in government occurred under President Frederick Chiluba.
Interesting.
So this is like a pivotal era in Zambian political history.
Yeah.
And Nawakwi was right at the forefront.
At the forefront.
Of all of that change.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
I mean, think about what that must have signaled to aspiring female leaders.
Absolutely.
At the time.
Totally.
So, when we talk about her legacy, it's really rooted in this dedication to Zambia's economic progress. She was such a strong advocate for policies aimed at improving the lives of marginalized communities.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Especially when you think about the context of, all of this.
Right.
The time that this is happening.
Right. And the sources don't really get into specific policies.
Right.
But her consistent focus suggests this.
A real commitment.
Yeah, commitment to tangible improvements.
Yeah.
For everyday Zambians.
You got it.
And beyond just policy, she was a voice for women in politics.
Absolutely.
Just seeing a woman in these influential positions, it must have created new possibilities.
It must have opened a lot of eyes.
Yeah, in so many people's minds.
For sure.
And, even facing personal hardship.
Oh, yeah?
She lost her daughter in 2013.
Oh, wow.
But her resilience...
I mean, it's got to be so tough.
It really is.
Yeah.
But, her resilience served as such a powerful example.
Yeah.
It adds this,
a human element.
A real human layer.
A human layer.
To her public achievements.
Totally.
I mean, wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I think that's a really good point.
And it's interesting how it seems like her personal strength kind of fueled her public commitments.
Right.
Because, despite these significant personal challenges, she never wavered in her dedication to serving her country. So it kind of makes you think about, how does personal resilience really intersect with, effective leadership?
That's a great question.
In the public sphere.
Yeah, it makes you think.
And now, as you may be aware,
right,
information about the specific cause of her death is still pending.
Right.
So, it's super important that we approach this with sensitivity and respect.
Absolutely.
For her family.
Yeah, of course.
During this time.
Yeah.
And, our focus here is really on her life and the huge contributions she made to Zambia.
Yeah, and it really is a huge loss for Zambia.
Absolutely. A real pioneer.
It really is. It's hard to overstate, I think, the impact that she had during her time.
Yeah.
And the void that's left, by such a pioneer.
And so when we think about her journey, it's clear that her legacy lies in, these groundbreaking achievements and her enduring commitment to progress and equality.
For sure.
So as we wrap up, I want you to think about this.
Great.
Edith Nawakwi's example of breaking barriers in Zambian politics and economics.
Breaking down those barriers.
Are there areas in your own life or your community where you see the need to challenge limitations and strive for greater inclusivity and progress? It's a powerful thing to think about.
Yeah, it really is.
Inspired by her example.
Absolutely.
What can we all do? To,
break down those barriers.
Break down those barriers. And make a difference.
That's what it's all about. Yeah.
Something to think about.
I like it.
All right.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Thanks for joining us.
Take care.
See you next time.
Bye.